man, I won't be involved in this election. I done all already, I want fame. Plus I ain't looking for fortune again. All I'm asking is that you pay close attention to the many problems we all face from dawn to dawn. You're intelligent, I think, and you should face issues. But you're behaving like a moron, cussing me for way I born, but you pipe a hand no water. You pay too much for butter. Take your steel beam and go. The terrible school system is such a bloody...
Hello, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. This is the NDC Heartbeat program, the voice of the people. And if you have no voice, you have no power. And knowledge is power. And so this is where you can tune in every Sunday, God's will, at 12 noon to be empowered. This is the NDC Heartbeat program, and I am your host, Jenny Simon. Let us go straight into the devotion. Let us turn to the Lord in prayer, asking him for guidance and protection, for long life, good health and strength, for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Let us thank God for the many blessings he has bestowed upon us over the past week and for his mercies. And ask of him many more going forward. Please say amen. We take a quick break and come right back.
Hey! Come on, people of God. Here we go. Hear my cry, oh Lord. Attend unto my prayer. From the end of the earth will I cry unto thee. When my heart
Welcome back, listeners. This is the NDC Heartbeat program, and I am your host, Jenny Simon. Let's take care of the announcements. The National Democratic Congress, the NDC annual convention, would be held on Sunday, January the 24th at the Hermitage Government School from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that's the closed door sessions. From 6 p.m., a special sitting of the People's Parliament to kick off the reopening of our People's Parliament for 2016 will be held at the Hermitage Playing Field. Come and meet our new executive and hear messages from, of course, our political leader and others. On Sunday, the 7th of February, the NDC is joining with some young people who at the town hall meeting, which we held on Thursday, which we facilitated on Thursday last, the 14th, that was at the Trade Center Annex. And we had some young persons there who invited the nation to join them at Camahon Park in protest against the giving away or the sale or whatever it is, the upgrade, the removal, the going adjacent, whatever they want to call it, to join them at Camahon Park from 7 o'clock on that morning, the morning of the 7th of February, and as they put it, in protest against the sale, the giveaway of Camahon Park. And it's going to be an all-day family affair, food, music, games, live entertainment. You'd get breakfast, lunch, and dinner on sale if you don't want to cook and come down with your basket, but you can come down with your picnic basket and your tablecloth and your kids and just have a fun day in the open green space that was given to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Someone sent me a note this morning, and it reads, is it appropriate to say this government stands between our park and us? And I would say, yes, it is. And he continued, and he said, like an obstacle to be removed. I say, yes, yes, and yes. Folks, we'll take a quick break and come right back. Okay, now, today I want to continue with the conversation surrounding the Camerhorn Park issue because that ain't going away anytime soon. But before I do, I want to speak to you on a news item brought to you by the GBN last Friday, November the 15th. And it was a pronouncement by a pollster, Mr. Peter Wickham of Barbados. And he suggested, because I don't think he didn't say it was a result of a scientific poll. And to me, he sounded like he was a member of our cabinet. But he suggested that the NDC will not win an election if it happens now, to say the least. Among other things, a lot of other stuff. He knew that the structural adjustment program that we're in is doing well for the country, and that the government would be releasing us on taxes. It's the first time we would have heard something like that, and a number of other stuff. Now, I didn't think that it sounded like an independent pollster, more like somebody being paid to do a job. Now, as I said, he knew all about the structural adjustment and the so-called recovering economy, and that we soon will be feeling the benefits of the 3-year structural adjustment program, and that we warmly endorsed. He knew that we warmly endorse the structural adjustment program. I didn't know that. And that taxation measures would be reduced. I mean, he's not telling us anything that we don't expect to happen when it comes to after the election date is announced, or even before. Like all know, we're hearing of things happening, people being offered material, campaigning taking place in the night from 6 to 8 in certain areas and all of that. If you want board, you're getting board. Whatever you want, I understand in some constituency, if you want land, you're getting land. So we expect these things to happen. What we don't expect is for it to catch the Grenadian public again. Anyway, he went on to speak of NDC's leadership entering into the last elections, and of course, our new leadership, needless to say, I am not at all surprised of the statements, the utterances coming from this gentleman, Mr. Peter Wickham. Why I'm not surprised? I'll tell you why. Peter David, during his struggle to acquire the leadership of the NDC, in his quest to remove Tillman Thomas as leader of the NDC, to overthrow him really, had a poll done by Mr. Peter Wickham. But before I tell you about the poll, did I ever tell you why Peter David thought he should not be Tillman Thomas should not be the leader of the NDC? As a matter of fact, what we said it is, I refuse to be led into another election by a peasant boy. He called the Honorable Tillman Thomas a peasant boy. Now, for those of you who are not quite sure what a peasant is, the dictionary states peasant, a poor farmer who owns or rents a small amount of land, either in past times or in poor countries. 2, it says old-fashioned, informal, and insulting word for someone who does not behave politely in social situations or is not well educated. So we would go with the first one. Uncle Tilly, yes, that grew up a farmer, come out from a little village in St. Patrick. And he continued actually doing his little farming while he was prime minister. And I remember hearing the prime minister, the leader of the opposition in one of his forums saying, we'll send him back to Hermitage to look after his goats. So it wasn't about his performances or him being as prime minister. It was about who he was and where he came from. And so it's amazing, though, that Mr. Peter David would like to run for office again and lead peasants, little villagers and farmers and whatever deep bushes. He wouldn't mind being the leader of these peasants, but he do not want to be led by a peasant. That says a lot about Mr. Peter David, my friends. Anyhow, let's move back to Peter Wickham. So Peter David paid Peter Wickham to do a poll that suggested, the results suggested that Peter David was the most popular leader of the NDC and should in fact be the next leader of the NDC. Now, I don't know how many of you was even polled. I know, me for one, I was never polled by a pollster. All the polls happening in Grenada, I've never been polled. I have to believe Mr. Wickham's poll was done among members of the NDC, and Mr. David brought Mr. Wickham to an executive meeting of the NDC to announce his findings. Authentic, coming from the man himself. He brought him in, showing us on a projector a graph to further explain the results that Mr. David should be the leader of the National Democratic Congress. Weeks later, the delegates and members, 400 plus of them, voted to have Mr. David and his allies expelled from the party. So much for being the most popular leader. So I'm kind of accustomed to Mr. Wickham and the way he works. So I have to say to the leader, the prime minister, the leader of the NNP and the New National Party, if what Mr. Wickham say is so, then I would beg for you to call the elections, sir. Please do. Please do. So I'm saying you can bring Peter David, you can bring Peter de Savary, you can bring Peter Wickham, you can bring Peter the Poncet's pilot. No distraction from Camerhon Park that belongs to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Peasants and all. It belonged to us and is non-negotiable. In fact, Peter de Savary said, what the people says, and I'm paraphrasing here, goes. He said he didn't have the facts. I guess they brought him on to try and lift the whole thing. But I think it was shocking to hear him say that. He didn't have the facts on it, but he said what the people says goes. Interesting comment coming from that gentleman, but I ain't gonna go there today. The people say no to the giving up of Camerhon Park, and no is no. Folks, coming out of the 2016 budget, the Prime Minister announced that an agreement was reached with the developer of the new 5-star hotel on the Riviera property for a new Camerhon Park nearby, a 400-room hotel, and therefore it seems like in order to accommodate this 400 rooms, Riviera, the access road, and Camerhon Park will be used up. Somewhere in the second half of 2013, ending up of August, early September, the talk of the government selling Kamahon Park surfaced and was denied to a point. And I said to a point because when you hear some of the clips and the utterances, you would realize that in the same clip, they're contradicting themselves, and they continue to do so even now. And I was speaking of 2013 here, right? So after the 2013 issue and it raised, and they kind of flatly denied it, the whole Kamahon Park issue was put to rest. Several members of the administration, Minister Steele, Senator Lalsing, Minister Otway, the head of cabinet, Prime Minister Mitchell, they all spoke on it then. This is Minister Otway said plainly that Kamahon Park is not for sale. And I'm wondering now, where is she? Since she is the representative for the area, the South, and as a matter of fact, the Minister of Implementation. So if we're going to have a new hotel coming on stream, we expect to hear from the Minister of Implementation, Minister Otway, and the representative, as a matter of fact. So that's a double whammy from the South. But instead, we're hearing from the Minister of Health. Interesting. We're hearing from the Minister of Health. Maybe it's a hospital they put in on the Rivera property, and we're getting all tired, but we'll know. We'll hear about that further. Now, this is what Mr. Kenny Lalsing had to say then.
Rumors going around that we are selling the lands which house Kamahon Park. This is totally untrue. We will not dispose of Kamahon Park except we have a better park to replace it. Let it be very clear. We will not dispose of Kamahon Park except there is a better facility that can replace the present Kamahon Park. So I want the public to rest assured that there is no truth in this matter at this time.
Lalsing said, though the park is not up for sale at present, the issue can still arise in the future pending the outcome of talks with the urban planner.
We are getting an urban planner to come in to help us look at the entire area from Point Celine back to Perseverance in terms of advising us on how we can best restructure the area. And if we believe the advice that is coming will be suitable, then we can make changes. So if it so happens that there can be a better developed Kamahon Park in a different area, more enhanced, better facilities, and we believe it will mean more to Grenada and its people, we will consider it.
Okay, so that was Mr. Kenny Lalsing in 2013, and speaking of a better, more developed Kamahon Park, we're going to move it. Urban planner, the question is, has this urban planner arrived on the island as yet? Manje Pupot. Now, coming out of the post-cabinet briefing on the 5th of January 2016, this is what Kawe had to say.
I know you've been repeating this time and time again as it relates to the Kamahon Park. This open green space is dear to this government and dear to the people of Grenada. And I heard a lot of adjectives being attributed to this park and a lot of firsts being attributed to it. And I guess as much it is fitting. But what is very important for this government is to ensure that the people of this country continue to enjoy that green space. What we have said in the last briefing as it relates to the Kamahon Park, the government has not in any way given up or gotten rid of that open space to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Peter Martinique. What we have said though, there is on the table a proposal for the upgrade and enhancement of a new park with modern facilities, with modern amenities, as well as the upgrading of the tennis court in Granans, the upgrading and to the modernization of the vendors market, and to give people of this country good access to all those amenities, and of course our prized possession, the Granans Beach. All that we are saying here is That's on the table. And we have not in any way have given up on that right that the people has. What you've heard out there as to getting rid of Common Park? No. And with the upgrade I spoke about, this must happen first. If we have to move location of the park, my dear people, as we have said time and time again, and you know we are a government that keeps its word, the open space that is known as Common Park will continue for the people of Green Carrico and Peter Martinique and those visitors who we will time and time again welcome to our shows.
My dear people, did you understand anything Gawe said there? Because I haven't. We moving, we ain't selling. He says something about how will we enjoy, that is the people enjoy the green space. We must enjoy the green space. But he planned to move it down and down the road. And they upgrading something that's never not been there. And they will not move it until it upgrade, the new one upgrade. And the first time, it's speaking about what they said is that there was a proposal, but this is the first time we're hearing about it. He's now talking about the proposal. What we heard the Prime Minister say in the budget, and you'll hear it for yourself a little later, is that an agreement was reached. I'll leave that there for now, right? So I don't know if you understand what Gawe said there. He said at the end of the day, what he said, 0 from 0 leaves 0. Right? Now listening to his the answers. I want you to listen to his answers placed by the questions placed by the media persons that was at that post-cabinet briefing. We're going to play them one after the other. I want you to listen attentively, my friends. So the questions came from about 3 or 4 different media persons. So I want you to listen attentively. And we'll start with Ms. Leslie Ann Johnson from the GIS.
So my first question regarding the Cameron Park issue, you mentioned that things are still on the table. Is there something holding things up? I just want to make sure I have things clear. So you say it's still on the table. What is the real issue right now? Why we're not really moving ahead as I'm sure we would like to?
Thank you very much, Leslie, and Happy New Year to you as well. No, it's not really held up on the table. Remember, it's a major project, hotel project of over 400 rooms, over $120 million US, and the developers are on the final leg of getting the project proposal documentation in place. What we have said, before anything can be considered as to the movement of the park, we have to see what you're talking about. And I'm talking about physically seeing you put down the structure, the modernized park, upgrade of the tennis court, upgrade of the vendors market, and all those things. So as soon as that is completed, then the hotel.
Okay, so that was the answer to to the first media person. We'll moving right along.
Okay, good morning, Senator. Good morning, Press Secretary. I would also like to extend Happy New Year to you all. Delroy Luzon, GBN. Just a little more clarity on the Cameron project. Some people don't really understand when you say there will be a new park or an upgrade. Will it be in the same location or it will be in another location? That's the first question.
Thank you, Roy, and Happy New Year to you as well. The upgrade we're talking about will be in a new location adjacent to where we are at this point in time, a little away from where we are, but in the same on the Grandlands Beach itself.
Okay, so and you think that is a more suited location for that?
Okay, well, suited here could be relative. The point about it is you're looking at providing a green space for your people so that they can come and enjoy the amenities that is available. The sun, the beach, the sand, and all those things, that will be available to our residents. So if you're looking at what they have now in the common park, a few trees and the benches and open spaces so the children could run and play and so forth, they would have all of those things and more. Modern facilities. That's what is on the table right now. So let's look at it, and let's be real. Obviously, this is going to be a very ticklish issue. Ticklish political issue. Do you think this government going to give ammunition to its opponent to beat it? Never. All right.
Okay, so the question is, will it be in the same location, right? Or in a new location? And we got the answer. It is going to be in a new location adjacent to where we are now. I want you to bear that in mind, write that down. It will be in a new location adjacent to where it is now. But he also said that we have, that they're going to do a new green space. But we already have a green space that he said earlier on is the people's place, and they would never take away that green space from the people, right? So he's agreeing now that it would be in a new location. Let's move on to the next question.
Yes, but happy New Year to both of you. Gerard Joseph, MTV News. On the Camahan issue, you said the park would be relocated to an area adjacent. Is that the plot of land that was in the process of being cleared?
No. If saying adjacent kind of confuse you, it's going to be, as I said, not
Nearby.
right there, but close to the area, but on the beach as well.
Okay. And the prospective investor that's looking to do that hotel on where the Camahan Park is presently now, can you give us the name of that person?
Oh, sure. It has been said more than once. The same investor that is doing the Silver Sand project.
It was a package deal.
Yeah. Same investor. Najib Strawberries. He is the same investor that is doing both projects. So the Rivera project we're talking about, which is close to the Camahan, yes, I have this there, and he's doing the Silver Sand. Remember again, in terms of the investment to the country, and we have committed ourselves to the development of this country, but most importantly, to take care of the people of this country. And in taking care of the people is not only providing jobs, but also ensuring that the green spaces are maintained, ensuring that they are protected, ensuring that the security is maintained. All of those things is in that package. And as a government, we will continue to do everything that is necessary to maintain the peace and safety of this country, to continue to provide opportunities for people, and of course, to create the environment for good investors to come in and invest their hard-earned cash in this country. And I think, I don't want to boast, but I think we're doing a pretty good job of this at this point in time.
Okay, and just for confirmation, the prospective hotel project would involve both the Camahan Park and the Rivera? Well, in terms of with
Okay, let me be very clear again if you didn't get it. The idea is here is to develop a new Camahan Park. And if we're going to do it at a venue or a location away from where the present one is, it means that the present location will be utilized in the hotel project that we spoke about, that's going to give around 400 rooms, 120 plus million US dollars. That entire package will be at this location with the Rivera.
I like Gawe, because Gawe don't know how to camouflage it like Nicholas Steele and Kitty. He just, because he tying up his 7, he just say, you know what? Let me just say it as it is. But I love this young man, this media guy, Joseph, that from MTV. He always gives the punching questions. And interestingly, when Gawe said to Delroy that the location would be adjacent, this young man was able to pick up that adjacent to Camahon Park is the Rivera lot. And so he said, is that the area that they started to clean up? And there is Gawe now. He said, if adjacent puzzling you. And did you all hear the Wonder Woman in the back there only putting in nearby, down the road, across? She worked hard that day for the $1,000 raise. Now, I think it's imperative we get the meaning of adjacent out of the way. According to the Longman Dictionary of Contemporary English, adjacent, a room, a building, a piece of land, etc., that is adjacent to something is next to it. So the young media worker was well in order when he asked if the park was being relocated in the area that was being cleared, meaning the Rivera area. You see, they so deceitful and wouldn't come clean and clear with the people that they're trying to tie up us and the media, but one or two of them have them covered. Gawe spoke of the green space, the open green space is dear to the government and the people of Grenada. He referred to Camahon Park as, after he said how dear it was, he referred to it as a space with a few trees and benches. But in his suggestion of where the new park might be, that is, where they upgrade the tennis court and upgrade the craft center, in that area, the only space there is opposite the cemetery or next door to the church building or the craft center area there in Grandance. He said there's another place on the beach nearby, right? Gawe and his government is so good under the advice of my lady there who wears 5 or 6 hats, you know, the Wonder Woman, who, by the way, worked, as I said, very hard in that press briefing. I mean, if you've been listening, you would have heard her coming through, giving points, suggestions, answering to the questions before even Gawe could open his mouth. As I was saying, they're so good that they would be upgrading something that does not exist. They would be upgrading the new Camahon Park. Now, if it's okay to move Camahon Park and put it somewhere else, I think we could ask for them to move the gardens, put it somewhere else and give us back the zoo so that the kids can, see. I remember growing up, I saw an Antietam, I saw, we used to have a good time going there on a Sunday. So I would ask that they relocate the gardens. If it's okay to relocate things, pick it up and move it and put it down somewhere else, then we're going to try and do so with a few things around the place, I would say, right? Now they're upgrading the new Camahon Park first. What a thing. How embarrassing for us as a nation to sit and be governed by that bunch. Listening to Pastor Gawe, a church minister, lying through his teeth, making up stories to mislead the nation, as a result coming across as a retard. But then again, he's the same fellow, the same one, who hid in the toilet to get away from voting on the casino gambling bill, but he miscalculated the time. We know about that, right? I told you about that. It was in the parliament. It was a total fake. We ought to be embarrassed as a nation when we hear post-cabinet briefing coming to us in this form. What is even worse, when the Prime Minister spoke in his press conference last Monday, 11th, January 2016, duplicated some of Gawe's utterances. Listen to a Prime Minister in conference.
I just want to address briefly the issue of Cameroon Park, and you may have additional questions. And before I say this, I just want to point out, Timmy Twine already had indicated to me a short while ago that he was planning to meet you later this morning. But since you already are here, he said he'd prefer to do it immediately after this. So he will come in and then you could ask him all the nice questions, all the questions that you wish to ask. First of all, sisters and brothers, I don't understand. I'm at loss to find out what all the hoopla about Cameroon Park is about. And I say this in the context that the government has made no decision with respect to Cameroon Park. You will recall that on the budget of 2016, which I presented at the end of November last year, that I took time out to inform the nation as to what was being advanced as possibilities for Cameroon Park and for further development in the country. In the context I was talking about development in the country as a whole. I did not, and that was unusual, to talk about an issue of this nature and a budget, but I felt it was of national consequences enough to mention it. And I did promise the nation that there will be no decision on the movement of the present park unless we are satisfied that the proposal presented by the possible developers meet the support of the government and people of Grenada, Carriacou and Piggy Martini. That was a commitment I made. And I explained we are all for development, but not at the expense of the interests of the people of the country. That's been my history. My history is quite clear on this matter. And therefore, I also made the point that not only we have to be satisfied that there is always available of specific serious facilities for the people of the country as it relates to the beach and recreation in that area. But we have to be satisfied that any new plans would have to be an upgraded aspect of this. In other words, there must be more facilities, more access, and better services in that particular area. And I made the point at the social partners meeting, because I was asked about that 2 months before. And certain persons I see on TV today were sitting there. In fact, one of them asked the question, and I said to them just what I have said to you. And I said to them further, you should know politically that I am not foolish. And I'm not a person who would give my opponent political weapon to knock me. So any decision I make would have to be in the context of what is satisfactory and accepted by the people. So rest assured, the social partners would be involved, our country would be involved, the government of the day would be involved after we receive the proposal from the developers. What I could not do, and which Keith Mitchell is known to always be consistent on, is to tell lies. I don't tell lies, I tell in lies. So if I'm asked by anyone whether we were considering some activity modernization or improvement or some movement or some modification. For me to say, no, we're not considering, I'll be a liar. And I don't like telling lies. And this is as far as I went. So I reaffirm that position and say to those persons that you ought not to be worried. Now let me make my political point on this. I am convinced that many persons who are expressing concern about the park are genuine about their concern.
Well, where shall I begin, my friends? I don't understand what all the hoopla is about. Insulting, very insulting to the people. Hoopla? You're talking about selling or giving away or patrimony, and you're saying you don't understand what the hoopla is about. Okay, and I'm telling you, if you see him when he's saying that, you know the smirk grin he keeps when he addressing us and talking is like, you know, I don't understand why I have to come here to talk about that again. The grin and the mouth like a full of water or spit. I don't know what it is, but that look, that is the look. Okay, just picture that. Now, you don't understand what they play about. Then he said that he informed the nation in the budget speech, and I'll play the budget speech for you. And you tell me if you hear all these things he said that he informed the nation about. But then again, he said, I don't like telling lies, I guess, but I have to do so sometimes. So now he's saying that he informed the nation in the budget speech. He took the time out to explain. I'll play that part for you. To explain the whole thing, and that there was no decision, or there will be no decision made on Cameron Park unless the people, he explained to the people, and you know, you listened and you heard all that he said he did in the budget speech. Lie, lie, lie. Okay? Now, imagine that. And you know what though? The media slipped right there. Because if you go into a conference like that knowing that he was going to talk about Cameron Park, because as a matter of fact, that is what was advertised from the GIS. Although he just stick it in at the end and he said, let me talk about that briefly. There were a whole lot of things that came before that, right? A whole lot of campaigning took place before that. The opening of the stadium, the football to come, the what. A lot of things came before that. But that was briefly, he would deal with Cameron Park, right? And they missed the point to say to him, sir, this is not what you said at the budget. And what you said at the budget is, or was, that an agreement was reached. I am saying here, my own opinion, if an agreement was reached, it means there was a proposal on the table already. And so he's saying there's no proposal, and we said this and I explained that, and I said the people must come first, blah, 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 blah. Now, if an agreement was reached with the developers, it means that there was a proposal. That's how I see it. I ain't smart, I ain't no doctor. But I know that in my own understanding, my like a peasant understanding, is that if an agreement was reached, there was a proposal and you came to that agreement. But we'll get to that because I'll play it for you to hear. So you'd see that even though he don't like telling lies, he do tell lies. You know me, I don't. And did you hear the duplication where he made sure he had the same thing Gawe said, would we give our opponents weapon to beat us with? It's all about saving your seat. It's all about that with them. It's nothing about Grenada. It's all about winning the next election, right? And being there for Project Grenada. What they say? 25 years? To be in office for the next 25 years. Now, so this was the Prime Minister, and of course he had his tag team, his tag team with him, the smooth talker, the golden boy, our Minister of Health, and I asked before, where's the Minister of Implementation? But the Minister of Health was there to back him up. Now let's hear what the Minister of Health had to say.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. Good morning to you all. The decision we've made as to a way forward is that we would appoint a committee of stakeholders, and we would like to be quite particular and to say for sure that we want to have on that committee some of those who have been most outspoken about Cameron Park, to make sure that all interests are served. Names have been recommended, and we will be seeking through the social partners and other stakeholders additional names for consideration. Of the names that have been recommended so far, I've been able to speak to one of them and get a positive response from that individual. And that individual is Mr. Finsley St. Louis. And I think some of the programs that will be aired tonight, etc., that he has been quite outspoken on it. So we want to make sure that people's interests, the stakeholders, all the stakeholders are served. The mandate of that committee will be to look at how our Grenadian people use the current Cameron Park, and can that be improved? Can that be improved in the existing location, or can that be improved with an adjustment of location or so? And that is the main focus of this. Ideally, we would like to be able to please all individuals, the investor and the Grenadian people. But the principle, first and foremost, is how the Grenadian people interact with Cameron Park, and is there a possibility of improving that? And therefore to assemble a team of individuals who have been critical of government policies, not just this government policy, but government policies in the past that may affect our heritage, our national parks, etc. And therefore they are genuine on the issues, and have them participate in this process, interacting with architects, planners, and the investor to see if there is a way forward for improvement. That is the main impetus of this.
Right. So all of a sudden, no, I think that one deserves all at a sudden. All at a sudden, they forming a committee to make sure that all interests are served. How can that happen really though? All interests are served? Okay. All stakeholders are served, another phrase used. We would like, he spoke about whether we would like it to be improved in that location or in a new location. Sir, the people say we would like it to be improved in the location it is right now. Really and truly, we would love it. Yes, you need a little upgrading. I was down there on Thursday. The benches need a little sanding and painting. Maybe you need to add a few more benches. And as one out of every 3 persons who came to sign the petition actually suggested that we get the next side where the Rivera is. Since it's too small to put a hotel and we're not giving up Cameron and the access road, that we would like the Rivera section to have it for like the toddlers. You know, when you go to America and you go to the park with the slides and yeah, we want something so if that would fit Rivera nicely. And since, as you say, it's too small for the 400 rooms hotel, well, let's serve the interests of the people here. And I would like you to know, he said, he wants to know how the people interact with Cameron. I would like you to know that we interact very well with Cameron. So I don't know if interact is the right one to use there. But anyhow, since you want to know, we interact very well with Cameron. So that was my friend, Minister Nicholas Steele. And I mean it when I say it, he's my friend, my friends. In the rebuttal on the budget speech, this is what Mr. Burke had to say, my friends.
want to say in respect of governance has to do with a comment that is made at page 51 of the statement with respect to the Riviera Hotel. In his presentation, the Minister of Finance announced, and these were the words, during this design, talking about Riviera, during this design phase, the investors have agreed to construct a new Camaron Park nearby. Let me repeat that. During this design phase, the investors have agreed to construct a new Camaron Park nearby. Now, what does that mean? Are we going to have two Camaron Parks? Are we scrapping the old Camaron Park? What's the deal? Is this how you're going to tell the nation that you're going to make a change in the Camaron Park arrangement? Is it because the nation have told you before that we don't want any change? Is it because many have stood here in the parliament, including former leader of government business Lal Singh, and said that there will be no such act? What's going on really with Camaron Park? This is not the way to deal with that. So, Mr. President, if this is a transparent government, come clean with the people. This is unsatisfactory. If it is a transparent government, come and see what is happening with Camaron Park. What is the plan for the existing Camaron Park? Are we going to have two Camaron Parks? This is a lack of forthrightness, and it must be exposed.
Well, political leader, I'll have you know that one of the newest things going around, and it came from the minister too, that we're getting 3 for 1. Give up Camaron Park and you're getting 3 for 1. I'm not sure if it's 3 parks. I heard it's, 1 park and the upgrading of the tennis court and the craft center. One of their supporters told me it's 4 for 1. 2 parks, 2 Camaron Parks, 1 up by Umbrellas, 1 down by the cemetery, and of course the upgrading of the court and the craft center. We're not gambling with Camaron Park. We could get 10 Camaron Park. We want the one that we have now that was given to us as a gift. We would like to keep that one. Now, something interesting, and don't panic. I know that Mr. Buck read out the what he said in Parliament, but I have him on tape, and you'd hear it. Maybe not today, because this thing is sweet as ever, and we're going to continue it next week. Now, the design phase. It's during the design phase. Now, in my mind, and I'm sure in yours, as peasants as we might be, some of us, if you're going to design something, you have to know where you're putting it. And when I say something, a building. So if you're going to build and you want to put it, you have your piece of land, and then you must have the piece of land first. And then you decide you're going to get an architect to design for you how you want to put down your structure. Now, if it is that you're in the developer is in the design phase and the agreement was already reached, then we all know that Camaron Park is already in the jump up. So don't come and tell us about no proposal has been given and all of that. Because you said, Mr. Prime Minister, that during the design phase, that the Riviera Hotel, the 5-star 400-room hotel is being designed. One person say, you could go high up in the sky as you want if it's legal, but you ain't going across. You ain't going across. Stay up. Another person said, unsell it if it's sell. And they're serious, sir. They're serious. Others plan to lie down in front of the bulldozers. But we would like to be led by our comrade Chester. We know he have a dung pack on that one, how to lie down in front of bulldozers and in front of trucks and so. We would like you, sir, workers' champion, President Squared, to come and join us when the time comes to lie down in front of the trucks. Folks, we would continue this conversation, this saga, this issue, and Camaron Park next week. Join me, same time, same place at 12 noon for the NDC Heartbeat program, and I am your host, Jenny Simon, and we are saying a better Grenada is possible with the National Democratic Congress. I love you all. Have a blessed week.
Instead of trying to invest, we selling, we don't care who regrets. We might make a joke, sell Morris Bishop airports, something that would not be strange for a small change. Grenada for sale. Who wants it? Come get it. Grenada for sale. And to make it easy, come with US currency. Grenada for sale. America, England or Russia. Grenada for sale. Come by, back from center. Whole thing, it's going. I tell ya, it's going. Not me, though. Not me. I ain't good.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program are those of the presenters, callers, or guest speakers appearing on this program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of WeFM nor of Grenada Wireless Communications Network Limited. The information provided in this program is for general information purposes only.
The one place for your most music.
Is it too late now to say sorry? 'Cause I'm missing more than just your body.
The most variety.
Baby, I'm hypnotized. Likewise, I'm so surprised. Your love is electric. Your love is electric.